swinging around in the attic.
Yeah, I wonder that sometime when I'm sitting in my house, I hear a noise, what is that noise?
Hi, Alyssa.
Hello.
Is she this real special guy that I picked up at work?
I read this. This is cool.
I did look before the meeting too, on Amazon to get a hanging thing for the TV so it bends out.
Yeah.
They're like $60. So I thought I could get it. I just need someone to put it on there.
That'll be me.
Okay.
It's what they call a swinging arm. Swinging
I've
arm.
just done those swinging arms. I've done 2 of them.
I think that qualifies you.
Yeah.
And you're still holding up? Yeah, we'll take it.
We should check that.
Yeah, right.
Get the bigger and heavier one.
Okay.
If you have a choice.
Just make sure it's
Between $60 and $85,
Get
spend
it.
$85 because you won't regret it.
perfect.
I need this. Hey, Ken. So I really tissue in your office to you. I just don't want to get up too late.
What do you want, a rolly adult car?
Are you sick or
No.
just,
No, I'm having allergies.
Allergies.
Yeah, and it's like I don't find myself just constantly. Thank you. And where I work is just constantly moving stuff and working like, you know, just perpetually. Yeah. Allergy.
The door's locked.
Oh God, thank you. Sorry about that.
It's right in the corner.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
I'm just gonna set that there in case someone else has it. I knew it was so close. but-
Jim passed it along to us.
Oh,
It's to the board.
Yeah, email that.
To Deanna, my friend that you met.
Everybody on
Yes.
Christmas mailing. This is an inside
I called her and she
information.
picked up a FaceTime and she was with her daughter and her friend and she found a nun costume and she decided to put on and go into shows. So she was wearing like a full habit. And I was FaceTiming with her at 3:30 today.
Halloween.
I was like, "You're getting in a real mood, aren't you?" She goes, "Yeah." She's brilliant.
Cheers.
Here. This is free as well. Yeah.
Box of pop.
Yeah.
oh
The
yeah.
doorbell.
That's the noise.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
When someone comes
Oh, what
into
is
Zoom,
this?
Well, that's
is that Jim had sent you that.
That's the thing I said I
outline for-
told you I put on, put here.
Thank you.
Open it up, read it.
Got it. Thank you.
There are other chairs, come in.
This is free, that's free, those two free.
Why don't we push this? Yeah, I don't know. Perfect for you, Jeff.
He's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
We'll call the meeting to order.
Okay, Finn, stop.
Recording in progress.
First on the agenda is road foreman.
I don't have a lot, unless, somebody else does, I mean. What's that? Unless you guys had something else you wanted to. Looked like you wanted to discuss the driveway stuff and this, that, and the other thing under executive session. I don't know if it qualifies for executive session, but. And that's up to you guys, I guess you're holding the meeting, so. If somebody has something, I mean, we're pretty good on our sand, we're getting our sand pretty well done.
I do have the road salt quote today too from Cargill.
Did we get that today?
I got it, not today, but maybe Friday.
Yeah,
Did you get a copy?
I didn't see it, yet, China is over there, yeah, I'm hoping we've got enough salt to get past the beginning of the year so that we can, stay. We're a little over, I mean, we're about spent our budget, so it'd be nice to, our shed's pretty well full, so I'm thinking, but you never know. Other than interest, so sand's pretty good, salt, we're pretty good. Trucks are getting oiled on Thursday.
Yeah, your new trailer.
We got trailer, so we can now move the excavator around, which we were. Shaves did it for me once or twice, and I did it once, and something fails, you know. And I think the new trailer makes it much nicer. Moving the culverts around as well, because before we were trying to jockey them up onto the truck and get a ratchet strap on them, and I actually did order, speaking of that, I ordered enough 18-inch culverts to almost use up our budget for culverts this year. We had about $4,000 left, and I ordered like $3,700 worth of 18-inch culverts. And the day after they came in, we're gonna, Brian, actually, you and I looked at the one up on Upper Old Tavern there that we thought the end of it was squished down by a rock. Right. So we uncovered it, and it wasn't just the end of it was squished down. About halfway down the middle of it, there was a big rock that poked right through it. So we ended up going up there to clean out the end and ended up changing the culvert.
Okay.
So, I think you got a little feel for
I did.
what we were
Time well
seeing.
spent, I think.
Yeah, so. I don't know, unless there's anything else major.
Well, we're gonna, on here, we got the Sheckler subdivision.
I don't have anything from MSK.
You just put it in there.
I put it in the hopes that we got a bill from MSK, but I haven't seen any of the reports. So I think we should probably just table it, but unfortunately I don't have any new information. I was hoping that I would have it by at least this morning, but I didn't.
And then, 13.
Wait. 13 is,
Yeah, 13 is paving roads and right away.
yeah, I can wait.
Okay. All right, so, any changes to the agenda?
Any reason we shouldn't do, Markham Lane before flood hazard mitigation, just cause
Well,
it's just
the
Alyssa
Alyssa's still on
Sabino
there.
on the flood hazard and,
He spoke up once.
She's here, yeah.
She's here.
just a suggestion.
Somebody's gonna wait one way or the other.
Yeah.
Well, Alyssa is one person and this is.
Yeah, exactly.
Several.
Yeah,
Alright, so you guys wanna move to 5 and then go back to 4.
yeah,
That's the consensus I'm getting at. So we'll do number 5, Barbara Lloyd, Markham Lane.
Do public comment.
You're up.
I think so.
Get public comment.
Here I am again. I missed you.
Ken?
I'm here to talk about the Markham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, just a minute.
Barbara, one
Barbara.
second, sorry, we
They
have to
wanna
do
do
public comment
public
first.
comment.
Oh,
Sorry, just 1 minute.
We skipped an item.
We skipped an item.
Ken's gonna go first.
They skip public comment.
Exit.
Okay, go ahead, you got it.
Mr. Chairman, at the last select board meeting, there was a subject that came up involving an issue between the road crew, the utility company, or property owners, grant money, who knows what. And it's the kind of thing that I would think the road foreman should be bringing to the select board's attention, but he was told to not bring it up. And that's putting an honest employee in a really bad situation. And it's really cheesy. And don't tell anyone is a really shady way to conduct town business. So I'd like to know under what authority does less than a quorum of the select board get to make decisions for the town? And what gives a select board member the right to take things into their own hands and then try to keep it quiet?
I didn't know anything about that till that night, and that is part of the 18 where discussion employee performance and personal matters where we're going. And we're going to address the issue tonight.
How do you know you're gonna have an executive session if there's been no discussion or vote?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
How do you know there's going to be an executive session if there's been no discussion or vote?
Well, we don't have to have a vote to go into, well, we have a vote to be able to go into an executive session, but no matter what, we said at the end of the last meeting that we were all individually gonna speak with Jeff. That was stated, and that's our prerogative to sit and have a conversation with Jeff and understand exactly what happened, because there was no previous understanding about anything, so
Yeah, that's shady.
I
That's
understand,
my comment.
thank you. Noted.
Anybody else got anything under comment?
Gretchen Hauser, I just have a question about whether to speak under public comment or old and new business. I'm not familiar with it. I want to bring up something about the reappraisal.
What,
Well,
it sounds like public comment.
that sounds like
okay,
public
well, the
comment, yeah.
question, my question is, you guys were all part of the Board of Civil Authority, I wanna get it right. So many different names. And I am okay with my letter and my decision and all that. I'm not okay with the fact that nobody can get an answer to a simple question from the reappraisal company that I assume you guys hired and paid. And even the Board of Civil Authority could not get an answer. And I'm wondering if there's something we can do about that, like maybe write a letter. You know, I don't even know who they are. I can't get in touch with them, or I would.
I'm not really sure if this goes to the select board, if it goes to the Board of Civil Authority. Are we allowed to comment on the decisions that have been made or the stuff that was talked about in this?
This isn't a decision. She's just asked a question. She's looking for an answer.
Oh, so
And
yeah,
nobody will give her an answer.
I have an answer. I do, about the 5v6.
Right, well,
Yeah.
I watched the meeting and there was no answer. That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, so
Nobody knew then.
I know, so after that, I did a little more research,
Okay,
and there was a line drawn in between where the road is, between the lower half and the upper half of Slauson. And that is how the designation was made, because the houses on the lower half were smaller than the houses on the larger half, on the upper half, sorry. So that is why the designation was made. To my understanding, the designation can be applied for to be changed. But as of right now, that is that's what was not answered. I found this out just by chance, and that's why that was designated 5 versus 6, was because there was a designation of smaller houses on the lower half of Slauson than there were on the upper half of Slauson. That was the answer that I found out, and that's what I can give to you.
Katie.
Sorry.
That is bunk. The houses on the lower half are bigger than the ones on the upper half.
Okay,
I live up there. The houses on the upper side, most of them are smaller than the ones on the lower side. It's another mistake this outfit made on top of many others they made. They were not a very good outfit.
So
Okay,
just
well,
to,
yeah.
just to get to the heart of it, how do we appeal that? How can we get it changed? 'Cause it sounds to me, just anecdotally.
Well, I'm just wondering where Katie got her information.
from Ryan, from the original assessor.
But there's 3 houses and 2 of them are by me and the other one is down the road. So
So-
there is no, you couldn't have drawn a line like that.
Okay, so, but the thing is that like, there was no answer, but not even any time for there to be like an appeal, and I don't really know exactly how it can be appealed, I just know that it can be. I didn't look into the details of how it can be yet. We haven't, I actually didn't know where the ex parte communication would come hand in hand, and what I was able to say or not, and and now I'm addressing it because you're asking, but
Right.
that's what I understand that you're saying like it's not true, but that's what I was told. Yeah, that's what I was told, and I don't think it's up to like for debate right now on like whether it's BS or not. I think it's what it is, and if moving forward as a community and a group of people, we can look at you and say, yes, let's look at it moving forward and just figure out how we can have it redesignated. But until then, we can't do anything about it, and that's the answer that I can give you.
But if there's an appeal process, we gotta figure that out.
Yeah,
And I don't know
totally, and
whether
I
that
agree.
goes through us or through the listers.
Right, and I agree. I just don't know exactly how that
Yeah.
works, but that's what I was
Okay,
given.
and I'm fine with that, but
Yeah.
I just don't want it to die.
It's not dead.
And go away.
No, it's not
because,
dead.
It's not right. It's just not right. And
Yep.
I think it shouldn't have taken that long to get an answer. Thank you.
So will we go to the listers with that question? Is that what you were suggesting, Jen? That we ought to go?
I think we gotta figure out who sort of has authority in this and, what the path, how the corridors work to get to where we wanna go. And I have no idea, honestly, whether this is a lister problem or a select board problem or town clerk. I have no idea.
Okay.
But we'll look, I think
Great,
that's
that would be great.
what
Thank
we're gonna
you.
try to do, is
Thank
figure it out.
Okay, so looks like we're back to number 5 unless there's other unprobable.
You're on.
Wait.
Okay, I don't know how much of this background, no, all right, for you a little background, okay. 10 years ago, there was a subdivision that was going through an approval process at the top of Markham Lane, as it was then. At the time, some of the residents, including me, on Markham Lane, had great concerns about the stormwater runoff and what this would happen, because they would have to extend the road and they had to clear land, of course, to build. Anyway, we we were concerned and we voiced our concerns, and they did get their approval, and they also got and also an escrow account was established with the approval and has $3,200 in it as of right now. There has never been ever a problem, as I know, on Markham Lane with any kind of drainage problem or runoff. But when the subdivision went in, there was a problem, and the water would come down, and I had a ditch in front of, eventually a ditch was formed in front of, right at the end of my driveway. That got to be pretty dangerous, I thought, because it was very deep, and I had to warn people when they came in. Also, Carolyn's, the gravel and the dirt and things ran down part of it by my house and then ran into her lawn. We both lost, I lost a little lawn, but Carolyn really did lose lawn, and it went in around and into her lawn. Jenny and Marcus across the street, the water was encroaching on their driveway. So there was a problem. We came to the select board, and our records show that we came in October of 2015. We came in September of 2017. We came in June 2022. There was site visits. Select board members came up. I don't remember if there was one where everybody was together, but periodically people would come up, and I thank you all for that. And then came the pandemic, the flood, and so there were bigger things to think about, of course. However, last year, the ditch, my ditch, got really dangerous, and so I hired a contractor to come in and do gravel to the tune of $2,000, and now I got another ditch coming. So we're very concerned because I've heard that there's another lot for sale. It's at the top of Markham Lane, top of the mountain. It's the one furthest up, which means heavy equipment on that road, which means more road construction, and of course, clearing land. So I would like to see if we can start again and try and resolve this. I've got 2 requests. Obviously, I'd love another site visit, and I'd like to be a part, we'd like to be a part of that. All of us do. To do it again, to go over this again, to look at what's happened since. And also, I'd like the select board maybe to let that escrow fund be closed down, and maybe hire an engineer to see if we can find the source, who's responsible, and maybe some solutions.
What was the purpose of the escrow account? What was the money set aside for?
Set some pins, I believe.
I'm sorry?
Pardon?
Yeah, to set some pins, I actually tried to get it cleared up this spring because they want to sell that other lot. And I think I asked Jim if he knew, but I think there were some pins that were supposed to be set, and that's what that escrow was
Pins?
for. Pins like property boundary, like the right of way and that stuff, and but I've been trying to catch this on a rainy day when things are happening. It's really the only time that you can do it, but I did swing by and take a couple pictures of Mrs. Lloyd's driveway, and for me, in the pictures that I've got, and Jim, you and I have been up there, we did a ditch on it. Mrs. Lloyd's property all pitches to her driveway. Her roof lines all pitch to her driveway, and her driveway all pitches to the town road. And then the ditch that she's talking about begins at the bottom of her driveway where all this water comes. It doesn't come across her driveway. The water comes down her driveway, across her lawn and down here. If it was coming from above on Markham Lane, there'd be a trench across her driveway. It's my belief it's coming off from her garage roof, her house roof, and her lawn, and then you've got the ditch there. So how do you explain that it's not if the ditch
See,
isn't over here?
No, it comes right across, this is where the big ditch was, so it came
I
right
took
down
that
there.
picture just the other day.
I wanna see what we're talking about, please, sorry.
I took that picture the other day.
That's why I do want everybody.
I think
to
an
come up
engineer
and
would
look
be-
at it.
The huge trench comes all the way down.
It's such a narrow right of way. Nobody wants to really let the trees get cut.
Well, yeah.
Also,
You've got 12-foot width there to deal with. That's as wide as that road is. By the,
and there used to be the ditch that came around Wharton Lane,
This was the ditch.
came right down the
Yeah.
side of the
well,
road.
it used to be a culvert
Which
here.
was taken, it
After
was
the
a
23
ditch.
flood, the culvert was
And
visible.
you could see where the water went in there, and it's all overgrown now.
Seven years ago, they cleaned that culvert and that ditch when we came here the first time. And within months, it was all nothing. And the escrow fund, we were told 7, 8 years ago, the reason that it was open was because the job wasn't complete, that if the escrow fund was returned to the Larson subdivision, it was a way of saying that they were done. And we asked whether that was the reason they kept it open, was because they didn't have to complete it and fix it for us.
The worst part is when you go up there during the rainstorm, and it's the only time you can really get a really good vision. You go up there in a rainstorm, and the water that's coming from the extension of the road is going into culverts and crossing the road and not coming down there.
Yeah, there is a culvert
There's a culvert right there.
about roughly halfway between Orton Lane, right? And Barbara's driveway.
Yeah.
There's one
And it
there, and
takes
then
all
there's
that
one,
water,
and there's one
and
above
you
Orton.
did a whole bunch of work
We did a swale.
up on Orton Lane on the west side, on the left side as you're going toward the end. To keep, because we were worried that water was coming down
From Orton, right? Or-
from Orton down your big lawn up above your house. You know, and we may be wrong, but
That's
those
why
are the
I'm
things,
here.
yeah.
That's why I'm here. I think you're wrong. You think I'm wrong.
You're
We
so
all
not
think we're
wrong.
Okay.
I think the only thing we all agree on is there is a problem.
Okay, can I say something? I just wanna just, sorry.
No.
I just wanna say, I think that there definitely needs to be a site visit, like how can, like, we're all new to this, there is a lot of history. But also, different, size of the roadways, the right of way, like the escrow fund, the water, seems like you spent a lot of money on putting gravel down to cover up the ditch. Jeff and the crew have been doing work and doing all these different things, and the town's paying for that. It seems like there's a lot of money being spent and issues still happening. And so I don't know if it's really necessarily like a healthy thing just to have an argument or conversation about whose fault it is right now. I think maybe we talked about hiring an engineer. I think, if this is a subdivision that had something that, I don't really know the history, but I don't know if it's necessarily a great idea for us to be having a conversation about who's right or wrong. I just think
No,
moving
that's where-
forward.
That's where we ended
Right.
when the pandemic and flood, because, you guys, said it was coming off my roof. Down to my,
I think it's important to know that we've all lived on the lane.
Yeah.
For over 20 years.
Yeah.
Barbara's lived there 45, 50 years.
Mhm.
Carolyn, we've been there 25 years.
Mhm.
So we know how narrow the road is.
Yeah.
And we know all that. And we all lived there happily with our garden beds and our beautiful lawns and our cut driveways with nice gravel for 20 years before the subdivision went in.
Okay.
That's all we're saying.
So
Yeah.
is there, is it, Carolyn, do you still have gravel coming from, is it still a problem? Not, clearly there's still the ditch by Barbara's.
It gets worse all the time. Yes,
Okay.
every time they rebuild the road. and
I
put
will
more-
say, though, are you the road commissioner?
Yeah.
I remembered a few months back that you came after any storm we had and put down some gravel and smoothed it all out, did a good job with it. But the next
Yeah.
rainstorm you have, it starts cutting through and it all empties up in my lawn.
And I clearly see it, I'm not in disagreement with you, I see the gravel over there. I think the only disagreement maybe is where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you say, hire a professional engineer or hydrogeologist to come up there and look at it. I see it one way, you guys see it one way,
Right.
and you gotta have somebody mediate in the middle.
Yeah.
And, you know, Barbara's driveway doesn't have a culvert that is at least open. And if it had a culvert that was open, the water would get in that and go through instead of jumping over the driveway. But it's been there so long that it probably didn't need a culvert, so there's a lot of issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of in a disagreement about culverts because they freeze up in the winter and then all that the water goes over it.
I don't disagree with you in all aspects of what you
Yeah.
said, but,
And if it were coming off of Barbara's roof, wouldn't it have been coming off of her roof 40 years ago?
Anyway, I don't wanna, I do appreciate, once again,
Yes.
I appreciated it before, I appreciate it again, but we're not getting anywhere,
Right.
as Jeff says, yeah.
So how do we have to make a
So what can
motion
we
to,
do? Can we
how
have
to
a
make a
site
motion to?
visit or?
Probably a site visit, and then they
First, yeah.
can decide at the site visit whether to hire an engineer.
And you, nothing tonight, no.
I'll accept the decision to go for a
Do
site
a
visit
site
and
visit.
schedule a
Yeah,
site.
but, yeah. Do you do the site visit?
I do, I mean, I can
I
go
mean,
over
you
there,
set
but I
them
don't.
up.
You can schedule.
Oh,
a
yes,
site
I can,
visit.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And you said you wanna be there.
We really would like to be
Understood.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sean will schedule it so that we
Sean.
can get his.
In the Markham Lane Dream World, visiting the site the day before a rainstorm and then the day after. And noting the difference. When you see it
That
during
makes
the
sense.
storm, it's all water, and you can't tell where it's coming. But afterwards, you see,
You see the ditches.
before driving happens and before people get out their shovels out.
Well, so let's hope we have some rain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pick a day with
The foliage
heavy
makes it
rain.
hard too. All the foliage makes it hard to sort of see what's
Yeah.
the dark foliage.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Thank you so
Lloyd,
much,
thank
Barbara.
you.
Thank you so much.
Markham neighbors, thank you,
Yes,
Thank you so much.
my neighbors,
for your neighbors.
my neighbors.
Yeah.
Jeff, thank you for your input there.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Back up to number 4.
Number 4, flood hazard mitigation.
Yeah, hello, everyone.
Hi,
Hi,
Alyssa.
Yep, Alyssa here with the Wyndham Regional Commission. So I deal with the floodplain regulations, flood hazard regulations with the towns and help with updating bylaws and that kind of work. So I guess I mean I'm here at your request, so I don't know if you want to start out with questions or how you want to run this particular section.
I just thought if you could give us a rundown of what is needed. I spoke with Matt a little bit and he said because we're updating the bylaws, this was easy to put in, you know, while doing that same project and make sure that we're all.
Yep. Sure. Yeah. So right now, there is a FEMA map update process going on. And hopefully FEMA has communicated directly with you,
That was a
providing,
while ago.
yeah, providing draft maps and opportunities to provide comment, all of that. That's handled directly by FEMA to the towns. It's not something we even are necessarily aware of at the regional planning commission level. But nevertheless, in conjunction with those new FEMA maps becoming effective, it is a good opportunity to review your bylaws and update them, make sure that they're in compliance with the latest standards. And then also, at this point in time, the ANR has developed the river corridors. And so I am always encouraging towns to incorporate river corridors into a flood hazard bylaw update. And I would definitely encourage Weston to do that. So basically, what I'm proposing is that, in conjunction with the work that Matt's doing on the rest of the zoning, with the towns that he's working on or anybody at WRC is working on a zoning update, I always try to incorporate the update of the floodplain regulations in at that time, just to make it easier to do everything at once. I have funding to support my time to do this, through a grant through DEC. And so, yeah, I mean, it's, if you have any specific questions where we can look at the mapping, I sent some links along to, look at mapping, look at the different bylaw options that are out there. Really, it's the state has a model and then we have a model at WRC. So it doesn't matter which you would use, except that the WRC model does include river corridors as part of it. It's all kind of rolled together. ANR's model has segments. So if a town wasn't going to include river corridors, I would recommend the state model. But at this point in time, the thing is that ANR is going to, river corridors are becoming mandatory starting January 1st, 2028. And what that means is that regulation within, and I'm going to just share my screen. I'm going to send a request if I can have screen sharing just to show you what the river corridors are versus the floodplain. And so here is the village area, just as an example. And so you can see the red area here is the FEMA floodplain. The red hatching area is the FEMA floodway. And I'm going to turn off the river corridor. So this is just the floodplain. And so this area now, and then this gray area here is actually the 500-year floodplain. And then this area that comes on.
Where's that gray area?
Oh, it's a little difficult to see. Do you see like?
It's very difficult. I'm
Do you
not
see that
seeing
it
it.
goes a kind of along there on the edge? It just extends out a little bit farther than the 100-year. It's on both
I
sides.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that
It's
that's
it's not very big.
yeah, it's not
It's
very
like a
big. Over
quarter of an
here,
inch
you can
on
see it goes over, it actually encompasses like, this house and
the
these.
bottom of Markham Lane.
Yeah, so some areas aren't in the 100-year, but in some structures, but they are in the 500-year, like this here too. Anyway, so then now I'm going to turn on the river corridors. So that's that cream colored area. So the regulation of the river corridors. So the river corridors there's a couple of different things within them. I want you to see the difference here. I'm going to turn off that. But there are mapped river corridors, and then there are Then there are, I'm gonna turn off the floodplain and the floodway. Then there's small stream buffers. So let's look at this here. So this area here this area you see now is the mapped river corridor. So this area is what A&R has used their mapping tools and studies to determine that this area in cream is subject to fluvial erosion. It looks at the geology and the topography to determine the area that would be subject to erosion damage during a flood event. That's what the river corridor is meant to map is erosion risk. And so now the small streams is like this area here. You see this small stream area is also a fluvial erosion risk, but it's not a mapped area. It's just they have all of the streams with between a half a square mile and 2 square mile watershed size. They just use GIS to determine where that threshold is. They buffer. There's a 50-foot buffer from the top of bank on both sides of those streams, and that becomes the regulated river corridor for those streams. So they haven't been mapped to have like a line on the ground. The line on the ground would be determined by the floodplain administrator going out and saying and figuring out where top of bank is, and then going back 50 feet and saying, okay, this is where the line is on the ground, and so this is considered river corridor and this isn't. The mandatory 2028 stuff is going to be the mapped river corridor. So whether the town chooses to regulate river corridors and small streams, buffers, prior to then is a choice, but starting in January 1st, 2028, the state, and it's still being determined how it will pan out in terms of like who does the permitting, who deals with the administrative tasks of that permitting, but whether it's going to be the state that handles that for the towns or the towns handle it, or that's still being worked out. But what we know is that permitting of development related to river corridors will be required in that mapped area. What's going to be optional would be the regulation of the small stream buffers. So right
Alyssa,
now,
Brian, could I interrupt for a quick question?
Yeah.
The river corridors that you're talking about, you're showing us here, you're on A&R, aren't you? Right now?
Yeah, this is the Natural Resources Atlas. Yep.
Right. I thought you had said that that wasn't going to be on A&R, that it was only on the WRC model. No, so I misunderstood.
It's still it's regulated within both. What I'm saying is that A&R's model bylaw, they wrote it before these things were going to become mandatory, and even now they're not yet. So at this point in time, it's written in like a segmented portion. So there's one segment that covers river corridors. So if you weren't going to have them, you would just not use that segment. Whereas the WRC model,
I understand.
It's all in one document.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
With all this regulation and taking away the property owner's right to do what they want on their land, how's the state gonna compensate them for loss of use of their property that they've been taxed on or being taxed on?
Well, this is not going, so this is basically going to, it doesn't require any change to anything that's currently built. It doesn't, change anything on the ground. No one's going to say you shouldn't have done this. Now you got to go back and make this change. It's basically saying, like how this river corridors works on the ground would be like, say for example, this house here. how it works, if there isn't, we'll just say for the sake of argument, there is not, say there's no floodplain, no FEMA floodplain at play, it's just the river corridor. What these regulations really do is they don't want any development closer to the river or upstream of it. So if this person wanted to put something on their home, an addition or something, or if they wanted to, anything like that, they could do it downstream and no closer. So the goal of these regulations is to create no more of a risk than exists now. They don't want to, the river corridors are the areas that are determined to be the area that the river will move within. It'll at least temporarily, access this area. It'll erode the banks. It'll, do the risk of erosion lies within this mapped area. And so they don't want any further bank armoring or things that are going to prevent the river from being able to utilize the space that it needs, because basically, like, if you came in and armored this, then anything downstream of that is going to have worse damage because it's going to be offset by not being able to do something here. It'll offset it maybe, into the road more or something like that. It needs this area, and they don't want to have it to be further protected by causing more risk to be put there. So that, I mean, it's basically like, okay, you would say if this person was seeking a permit, you would want them to be working ideally with the zoning administrator to ensure that they're, designing things with an understanding of the requirements of the bylaw, working with the zoning administrator early to understand what they can and can't do in terms of, where to put things. And then that way they wouldn't be wasting money designing something that won't pass the bylaw review.
Well, excuse me, but you still haven't answered the question as to how they're going to compensate people for loss of use of their land. They're telling them they can't use their land, and it's just gonna sit there.
Well, there's not going to be any compensation to the landowners, but the state is trying to prevent future damage that those landowners would have to deal with. So, I mean, this is a vulnerability that exists, and this regulation is trying to be realistic about preventing future damage for property owners that are subject to this vulnerability.
So Alyssa, I think if I understand it, what you're saying about this is that as the town decides on its floodplain regulations, we could incorporate the river corridors into that at this point when we're writing those regulations or rewriting those regulations.
Mm-hmm.
But if we do not include the river corridors, then in 2028, we'd have to rewrite them again to include those river corridors.
We don't really know. Like, if you didn't want to do it, we don't really know how it will work. Honestly, A&R they don't know either yet. They're still figuring out, like, all right, what are we going to do for, like, are they going to have standard regulations at the state level that will override local regulations? Are they going to, like, we don't know how the state is going to handle this because, they're because they haven't determined it exactly yet. What we know is that these things will be mandatorily regulated. We don't know what I'm encouraging towns to do, and what every town that I've worked with so far has done is to update their bylaws to include river corridors, and then down the road we'll see what it means in terms of You know, if
So the river corridors will definitely be included, but the mechanism for how that's going to work is not determined yet. Is that right?
the future mechanism, yes, yep. The
But they will
mechanism for how it
definitely
would
be
work
included.
now, we know, but we just don't know what 2028 will change.
Debbie
how-
has a question for you.
So, Alyssa, thank you very much. I can't see anything, so I don't really know what's up there, but I have a question, a general question. Weston currently has flood hazard regulations. They're existing in part of our regular bylaws. There's a whole chapter that just deals with flood hazard regulations. So I assume what you're telling us is that our flood hazard regulations currently are out of date. And forget the river corridor for a second, but that our regular flood hazard regulations are out of date. Is that correct?
Yeah, they're not like I'm not saying that they would be deemed non-compliant if I haven't done honestly like a compliance review of them, but the state deemed them compliant the last time they were updated. I am saying that in conjunction with new FEMA mapping, it is a good idea to update your floodplain regulations. I would highly suggest doing that. Let me see. I was looking at your bylaw. When does your zoning date from? I can't remember offhand.
1970. I'm sorry, 73.
Oh, well.
Well, yeah, so
No, I was not born yet.
I did look through, I mean, oh gosh. Well, it looks like 2015 was the most recent amendment, but I don't know when your flood hazard bylaws would have been comprehensively updated. It's been quite a while. So yes, I mean, I would definitely change your bylaws if I was updating them.
But we don't have to. If sorry, my understanding is that our drop dead date is January 1st, 2028.
Well,
then,
that's for the river corridors, Jim. The FEMA mapping is going on its own. The FEMA mapping has its own timetable separate from that. What's happening now really is that the RPCs have money to assist the towns with getting bylaws in place before the FEMA map update requirement. So I'm working with towns to update these bylaws, and then they'll be ready, and you won't have to scramble to get a new bylaw in place in conjunction with new FEMA mapping because you'll already have that. I would encourage you to also include river corridors now with the knowledge that they're going to become required. If the state has some way of, saying, never mind your local regulations, here's the new requirement, then every town would be subject to that, and that would be a new thing we would figure out. But, I wouldn't worry too much about that. I would say more utilize it's free for you guys to get updated floodplain regulations in place, and why not do that while you're doing the rest of your zoning, and kind of roll together.
There's another question for you.
So Alyssa, there's two aspects to what you're talking about. One is process and the other is substance. And I have lots of questions about substance, but I don't know that this is the appropriate place to be talking about the substance. But my major question is, how do the proposed regulations that you sent differ from what we have? Because that's really, from a substance point of view, that's kind of what we have to deal with. I mean, what makes it different? Why does the FEMA mapping make what we already have obsolete or whatever? That's question number. And I don't think that this is the appropriate setting for that question. But I am interested in it. The second one is from a process point of view. Our planning commission is working on
a total rewrite of our zoning regulations because, as I said, they were originally adopted in 1973 and have not gone through a major rewrite since then. And I guess the question I have is that I don't know what their timetable is, but I don't envision that it's any time in the near future that they will be ready to present the select board and the community with proposed bylaws. So how does that kind of, I mean, are you suggesting that what we should do is sort of independently, like get rid of our chapter, whatever it is that deals with flood hazard regulations and then plop this new one in? Or, and of course, I always worry about doing that because then you always end up with things that don't match, you know, you have definitions that don't match and stuff like that. So I don't know, I'm just sort of trying to figure out from a process point of view, how this would work.
Yeah, so how it works in other towns is that we would replace the chapter with the new model language, and then we would update the numbering and the references to align with the rest of the zoning. So that's something that Matt and I would work together on doing. And yeah, as far as the timing, I mean it's like 2028, I think. Spring 2028 is the I believe that's the time that FEMA mapping would become effective, or that would be the work deadline they have. There's a number of deadlines, and with FEMA, I mean, the federal government being shut down, who knows? The timing is a bit unpredictable. But basically, if we do it now, as long as your zoning is going to be updated within, in say 2027, we'll be fine.
So can I just ask a further process question to follow up on Debbie's? Are you, so the planning commission right now is working on the zoning regulations and they're focused on things probably other than flood hazard regulations. So are you suggesting that they table the work that they're doing now in order to focus with you and Matt on the flood hazard regulations, floodplain hazard regulations? Do that now to take advantage of your availability and this free money, and then put it in place and then go back and work on the rest of the zoning regulations?
It doesn't really matter, whether they, it's whatever order they would want to do it in. As there's no right or wrong way. I mean, if they're doing,
except that there's a final deadline.
But there's a final deadline, but also we have to, no matter what, we have to do the river corridors and incorporate it into the new zoning regulations that are being redone anyway. So
we don't have to do that until 2028, right?
Right, but it's happening right now. But they were talking about doing it right now. So
yeah, but the big question is, we spend all this time doing all this, then 28 hits, state says, these are the rules you're all gonna follow. So you wasted a lot of time. Karen's got a question.
So my understanding, and it's been a while since I read regulation, I think it was 121 that the state adopted. Basically, doesn't it come down to permits mostly as to what the town can or can't do will be regulated by the state?
it'll be regulated to standards set by the state.
Will be.
Basically, no, they don't want new development within the river corridor. Like no new buildings and stuff, new homes. They don't want things built within the river corridor. And additions or things like that, they don't want any closer to the river.
And could I?
Sure.
Alyssa, could I ask just a quick question? I believe the river corridor used to be 100 feet from the top of the riverbank. And some projects that I've done. What was the change to move that to 50 feet?
Well, it's the it hasn't changed. The small stream buffer is still 50 feet from the top of bank on either side. So it's,
Well, I'm talking about the West River and the West River. I had a project where I did a solar field and that buffer was 100 feet from the top of the riverbank on the West River. I'm just looking at the West River out here and thinking about the library. And so I was wondering, did they change? Did that not?
when was that?
Oh, we're probably pushing 8 or 9 years now.
Yeah. So.
And it was all done out.
Yeah.
With the engineering.
Well, the river corridors came about, I think it was 2015 or 2017 that A&R came out with them. And they didn't start out as just a buffered area. So I don't know. I mean, on the West River, they have mapped the river corridor, so it's whatever the mapping shows it to be. It's not a standard buffer from the top of bank in those areas. In those areas, it's based on their mapping analysis. Like I said, it's whatever. It's in some areas it could be a lot more than 100 feet. In some areas it could be less. It just depends. But the small stream buffers are the only ones that are actually just a buffer from the top of bank.
So Alyssa, I know you're here just to answer whatever questions we have, but so here's a question. Is your recommendation that we direct our planning commission, that the select board direct the planning commission to focus on revising the floodplain hazard regulations by working with you, and that we include river corridors in those regulations because we will have to do it as of 2028 anyway?
Pretty much perfect, yes. That's what I would say. I will say that you got it. I must have done something right. But I will say that, yes, I want to work with your planning commission on those things. The reason, I mean, I'm here to answer your questions, but the thing that I will say is that what I found in other towns that has been a holdup in the past is that the select board hasn't supported river corridors when it comes down to actually voting. And so I do make sure at the outset that both the planning commission and the select boards agree on the plan for river corridor regulation so that we are developing a bylaw that will be adopted.
And that will last past 2028.
Yes, yeah. I mean, yes. Again, we don't know what the state will do, and we have towns that are regulating to higher standards than what the state has. So the towns are still going to be responsible. We do know that the towns would still be responsible for permitting of development within the small stream buffer. So the state won't be taking that over. They will only be taking over what's in the mapped river corridor. Additionally, the towns have the FEMA mapped area to consider and permit that stuff as well. So it's a bit wishy-washy and gray, but I want you guys, to support the planning commission working with me on this update, and then I'd like you to be in alignment with the planning commission, or I want to work with the planning commission on something that you are both aligned on in terms of whether you want to include river corridors. And then the other factor, which we really didn't get into much, is called freeboard, which is an elevation requirement within the FEMA floodplain about where you have the lowest floor elevated up to. So what I would recommend in Weston would be a 3-foot freeboard. And that would be, that's
Say
just
30. Did you say 30?
Three.
Oh, three. Okay, thank you.
Um, typically, you know, it's 2 feet freeboard, but in looking at the at the FEMA data as well as the LiDAR elevation data, I would recommend 3 feet, as well as considering what was in the Weston flood study done by D&K. I think that would be a smart thing for Weston to do. And that would mean that development that would be doing a substantial improvement, which is more than 50% of the value of the structure, or any new structure in the floodplain would have to have the lowest floor elevated up to 3 feet above the base flood elevation, which is determined within the FEMA floodplain. So it's not to do with the river corridor. Here we're talking about flood levels rising. In the river corridor, we're talking about erosion damage. Within the floodway, you're also dealing with moving floodwaters, but the floodway is also a FEMA area. So there's kind of these multiple different areas of flood hazard that are all mapped, and there's different requirements within each one. And you could be in areas where you have, you know, a lot of areas that are more than one. You're in the floodplain plus the river corridor. So the freeboard and inclusion of river corridor are really like the two crux questions as to the, you know, kind of the strength of a regulation.
Alyssa, I may have just misunderstood something you said. Did you say that going forward under forget the river corridor for a moment, but going forward under the flood hazard regulations, that the towns won't be issuing the permits anymore if you build in a flood hazard area, and that the state will, or is it still going to be the towns that issue the permits?
So you're talking about within the floodplain?
Well, not in the floodway, but if it's an approvable development, does that get approved now by the state instead of the town?
All the permitting is done at the local level. So the state does have a 30-day comment window for every permit application. They're required to have 30 days to comment to the town about the permitting of that of the proposal, but the town is ultimately the decider and the permitter.
But it has to fall within the regulations that have been given down by the state. So really, no matter, yes, we'll be enforcing it, but now these are the new regulations that we have to adhere to, that have to be coordinated between the planning commission, the state, the select board, the flood hazard mitigation, and the zoning, as well as DRB.
Yeah, well, right, because the DRB needs to understand how we're supposed to enforce them and what they are. And we may actually need an engineer to help us do that. This is pretty
I
complicated.
hope you can find the good one.
We'll start looking.
Can I recommend that because time is running here? Can I recommend that we
Suspend it.
direct the planning commission to work with Alyssa in revising our floodplain hazard regulations and make a recommendation to us regarding including river corridor or not, and including the freeboard ruling or not?
Freeboard, it's not a ruling. We are currently at 2 feet. And she's suggesting to go to 3 feet.
Okay.
Actually,
So
currently you're at 0 feet. Currently, you don't have a free.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Either way.
They were going to
Right.
3 feet. So
looking for a
that the planning commission would recommend to us regarding river corridor and freeboard stating at 3 feet. I mean, it's not a motion.
No,
but-
that's not, well, I mean, I guess
Do
it's
we need a
it's,
motion?
I think we need a motion to, I mean, in order to be able to direct the planning commission to do something specifically that is going according to what are state regulations coming down in a sense, and we're, how can we, how do you not have a motion and just like you suggested? I don't really know. I mean,
No,
Let them take a look at it and see what they think,
Come back to us.
we can come back.
Yeah, I don't think we need, I actually don't think we need a motion. We're
thank
just
you.
but
gonna-
it would be a combination of, they just got a grant to redo our zoning bylaws. And Matt Backler is involved with that. And what we're hoping is that Alyssa, who you say has grant monies to do the flood section of the bylaws, I think, sounds to me like we would encourage them to take advantage of both those.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
yeah,
So then Shauna would write a note to the planning commission and tell them that's what we'd like them to
we
do.
just discussed it and
Thanks, Shauna.
All right.
Let's dump it
Thank you
on
for that note. Yeah.
Can I get a sense of your sentiment about inclusion of river corridors?
I don't think we have a choice.
You
That's
do
what I
until
think.
2028.
Right, which
Right,
means
which
we're
means
really-
it's a waste of time though.
What the hell can we do?
yeah.
that's only 3 years from now and they probably won't be done by then anyway, so.
Yeah, no, I think we've got to face reality and just get about it.
Okay.
It's another dictation from, I'll tell you.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks for that.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you,
Alyssa,
Alyssa.
thanks so
Thank
much.
you
Yeah,
so
of
for your
course.
time.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Good night.
Bye, Alyssa.
Bye.
So, guess we'll go to
We're
number
moving
6.
forward.
Karen.
Poor Karen, she's been
She's
patiently
sleeping
waiting.
over there.
Hi, Karen.
I do have some questions regarding the HUD contract.
The what?
The contract for demolition of the dam and the bridge, the application.
The
The
application.
application that was just applied for.
Yes.
Okay.
So, my first thought is why there isn't a full page, 400, I know it's 450 pages. Copy available for any residents in this town. Now, you can say it's online, I don't have internet service, so I can't read it on my phone. But it seems like, and I've read the application part. Okay, so I've read that, and I have some questions about that. It says that 0% has a less, 0% has less income. There were like 4 income levels in the application. And being here in Weston, there are homeowners that really fall below the less incomes that weren't reported in the application. So another question is, who filled out the application? And I know this is kind of, I'm trying to be.
Alyssa did.
Wyndham Regional
Let me-
Commission.
let me
Oh,
back
Alyssa's
up.
better, yeah.
I think you're talking about the lower, the LM index or whatever it is, which is lower and middle income.
Yeah.
And that's purely a statistical thing,
Yeah.
for. And it doesn't mean that there are no poor people in town, or that they're all rich people in town, or everybody's median. It's just a percentage of the distributions. I don't know how the state gets that, but they
Yeah,
do.
So did it come from the state?
Yes,
Those
those numbers come from the state.
Okay, it's pretty good. Okay, so my main.
Is that a good answer to your question?
Yeah, if that's
Okay.
where it came from, because I didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, that's my understanding, is it comes from the state.
Okay, so the other thing is, the question is there a legal contract between Town of Weston and the Weston Community Association delineating what ifs, the whereases, the wherefores, because and nothing against the association. What, if you get the grant, you get the money, and something happens, you need more money, or there's a disagreement between the association and the Town of Weston, Is there a legal document defining the two players' responsibilities? I guess is the only way to put it out there.
The best way I can answer that question is that there are two projects in that grant request.
Right.
In previous grant requests that have done for these same two projects, the town has applied, the town which owns the bridge has applied for a grant, and the community association, which owns the dam, has also applied for a grant, and those have been bundled together. But those grants, the first grant was the Rivers project that, you know, Alyssa worked very hard on. And that was for FEMA money. That money ran out, so sorry. The next one was a congressionally designated block grant. Seemed like a great idea at the time. And what do you think the odds are of a blue state like Vermont getting a congressionally designated anything? So that sort of went away. And now apparently there's, I think it's $47 million of HUD money that's in the state. That came from the feds, but it's been spent. I have heard that it might not get clawed back, probably won't. But, so we've applied for that. One of the foibles of that grant is that there needs to be a single applicant for the grant. For both. So the town is the requesting the grant. But if, and that is for the bridge project and for the dam project. Here are the three possibilities, four possibilities. We don't get the grant. We get a grant for the bridge, but not the dam. We get money for the dam, but not the bridge. We get money for both. If we get money in two of those options for the dam, the town will just give that money to the community association, and they will, you know, they will spend it on their dam. And I mean, it's possible that they'll say, well, we've changed our mind. We don't want to tear the dam down. Okay, but I'm just trying to outline the possibility.
A quick
Yeah,
side note to that is, but the town doesn't own the dam.
the community association does. That's right. So the town gives the community association the money to remove the dam, and they are responsible for removing the dam. Town doesn't own it, community association.
They make
does
that
own it.
decision.
But
And
I
if it's more expensive than
Then
the
they-
money, then the community association is responsible for it.
Yes.
You're okay.
I think Karen's asked a really interesting question, because I think that there needs to be some, and check with town council for this, but there seems to be some kind of contract or agreement reached between the two entities, because the town will be awarded the grant. And how is the town getting the money out over to there? And what is the document that allows for that money to go from the town over to the WCA? And requires the WCA to comply with the terms of the grant and all that kind of stuff. I think it's just a.
Technical, I don't know the answer. I can't.
I have a question about
Yeah.
that and also the other things. The money, so if we would win the grant and we give it to the association for, thank you, the community association for, because no matter what, that dam is out of compliance as of last year. It was done in 1999 and it lasted 25 years.
Well, it's compliant because it's been inspected,
Okay,
but at some point it's gonna go out of compliance.
right, okay.
And something's gonna have to be done.
Well, the state will just keep changing the rules till they make it so it
Well,
won't.
okay, well, that, I mean, that's, okay, I get that.
That's the way
because
they
it's-
work.
Well, I understand that it's frustrating, but moving forward, I have a question about the dam and flooding, first of all, like where I am, like I'm in a FEMA floodplain and my house is out of town and, you know, is not a part of this flood hazard mitigation study that's been done. Does the community association decide whether they're going to take the dam out or rebuild the dam? Is just based on money, or is it based off of like, you know, flooding of the houses that have happened above the dam? And because of that, I mean,
That's up to them.
that's up to them, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so, okay,
they-
that's their choice.
dam.
Their
Not our
dam.
problem.
Their dam.
And okay,
And they will decide.
okay.
To me, I mean, reality is that if you get the grant and you just decide not to use it, then at some point, pretty soon in the next 10 years, maybe probably within 10, that dam is going to have to be rebuilt. It was last rebuilt in 1999 or 1998, and it was like $700,000 or $800,000.
It's gonna cost way more this time now.
So yeah, guess what it's gonna cost
1.7
next
million.
time? There you go. So,
And that has to be raised by the community. We're up for grant money.
right,
Right.
and yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, that's just
Linda.
a hard reality.
Okay.
So I would suggest, Debbie, I like your suggestion. Karen, thank you for introducing the
Yeah.
idea. I think that we should ask the town attorney what this
Yeah.
document should look like, or ask the town attorney to draw up such a document that enables us to legally give that grant money to the WCA, taking into account what the rules are for that grant anyway, because that would be important as well.
And also it probably should spell out their obligation to come up with any extra monies if the taking down the dam
Sure.
exceeds the amount of grant.
Good.
So, you know, just, yeah, I mean, Karen's made a good point, it just that happens, and council will be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
But the word if shouldn't be in there, Debbie, because the prices they've done are way below that little bridge that Andover did over there last year. That was a $2 million bridge and it's nowhere near the size of this.
So you're suggesting that it should be when, not if, when it goes over budget, right?
It will go over budget if it gets done.
Okay, great.
Somebody's got to come up with a lot of money.
Can I ask a question? And I guess the association members will know about this. Is there still a keeper of the key? What's that?
What is that?
I have no idea. I
So
don't, e-
in the
Dude,
80s.
you're not object, you know what
I
that
think
is?
Deb is the keeper of the key. Just
Yeah.
joking.
In 1984, I know a woman that was the keeper of the key. And she would be responsible, and I don't even know if this still works.
Function, yeah.
It's the function of the dam to open and close to allow water flow. Is that still functioning?
I don't think.
I don't think it works any longer. The old timers would have called that a storm. If a big storm was coming, they would let the water in the. It escapes me right now,
Yeah.
but you would lower the water behind the dam.
Yeah,
And, unfortunately, where I see is everybody's in recent history is we gotta tear down the dam, we gotta tear out dams in general. But those gates were put in there by the old timers when a storm came, they lowered the water behind the dam, they didn't have to tear the dam out. It was called the floodgate, so in the time of flood, when they knew a big rainstorm was coming, they lowered the water level behind the dam and they didn't get overwhelmed, it didn't overwhelm the town. Basically does the same thing that tearing out the whole dam does. And is what their theory was.
It worked, but the trouble is it went by the wayside because this dam up here had one, but they never opened it and then silt gradually over covered it, and I don't know if they put it back in or not when they rebuilt this dam, but
I mean,
the
the dam
year-
on Cold Spring,
yeah.
yeah.
But then this one up here, oh, when Gary Root was around, I helped him work, and we had a door, what Jeff's talking about in there, but whether they did put it in last time they worked there or not, I don't know.
So, do any of you know how many bridges there have been here?
How many bridges, meaning how many times has it
Third,
gone
this
out
is
and
the third
had to
one I know.
replace it?
That's what I know, that's what I know.
One.
The first one was a covered bridge and it was washed out in
27.
1927.
Yeah.
And I haven't found a picture of it, but if you haven't
There is a
seen,
picture of it, believe it or not,
where?
kicking around.
Kicking around.
Yeah, it might be in the book, it might be in the book of the flood of 27.
Well, I looked at,
There's-
Howie, do you know Howie Brousseau? He's head of the historical.
well, I've
Society.
been talking
Yeah,
to
yeah,
somebody there.
okay.
So far, they haven't found it. But
Yeah.
if you haven't seen, so there's been a covered bridge, which would
Yeah,
be wonderful. There's been an iron bridge and 2 concrete bridges. That's a picture of the iron bridge.
yeah, Pony Bridge,
Pony
Right.
Bridge.
Pony Truss Bridge, yeah. that's what
Okay.
it's
Oh,
called.
there was one there at one point.
And,
I've seen that, yeah.
I've seen it.
That's the one I wanna say, yeah, so that was.
So, Karen, do you have, are you telling us that because we don't want to put a new bridge in, or why are you
Oh,
telling us
no.
that there have been only 3?
it's like in the design of the bridge. It re-raise funds to make it a covered bridge.
Oh. Good luck with that.
I mean, it would be something that people would come to the
You're gonna
town
be
to see,
midnight,
and there's not
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, we're gonna have to move stuff along.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
there
we
we
got
go.
Either
Yep.
just come back a different time.
Hang on just a second, Jeff. Have we discussed this one enough
Yeah,
for tonight?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
Jeff
Karen.
would like to, he's gotta get up in the morning, so can we go to 18, take care of all that stuff, and then go back to. I mean, it's getting 10 minutes now.
Wait,
Sure.
We can come back a different night if we'd rather do that.
I
No,
thought we
it's
were,
okay. Here.
Pardon? You wanna do it tonight or come back a different night?
And what are specifically we're
during
talking
executive
about?
session,
She's talking about 18 executive session.
executive, you wanna go to executive
And
session?
presumably also
Yeah,
13,
no,
presumably 13 and 18?
But I thought we were meeting with the lawyer.
Sorry, let me show you. If you can read it from my like 18 us and 13 is
And
paving roads.
13.
Yeah, so we're still up there.
Oh, we currently are? No, we're actually at,
No,
we're
we're-
actually at,
7.
That's why I was saying,
We're only
if
at
I'm at
number
18
7.
or 9. if
we're
I'm-
only at 7.
No, we can either do it a different night or.
Let's do it a different night.
Let's do it a different night.
Want to take a different night and
Sure, that's,
schedule that?
Yeah.
Or no?
We'll do it. Let's try and do it the first meeting in November and keep the agenda short.
Or we could do it.
Or do you want to do it
The
on an odd,
28th.
on an odd week and just have that be?
Is there a sooner date or no?
I'm not gonna be here.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I just know if you're at 7 and I'm at 18, we're gonna be 10, 30, 11 o'clock.
Absolutely.
So,
So I think you suggesting moving it to the 11th.
Yeah.
November 11th.
Yeah.
I will leave, I mean.
Don, why don't
No.
you text me and, or
I
email?
won't be here on the 11th.
Or we go right?
Could we
Yeah,
do
we could do a special meeting.
So what are we
that's what I was suggesting. I was gonna,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bye, thank
Thanks,
you.
bye.
Guys, have a great night.
It's not a bad idea, Jim.
Yeah.
Special meeting?
Special meeting.
Yeah, okay with
Yep.
Denny?
Yeah, if I'm around, rest of this month's pretty much shot for me.
Right, so
Yeah, you're out for the rest of the week, right?
And next week.
And next week?
and who knows what the weather.
I say out, I mean. Yeah,
Okay, so does that mean we're gonna go to paving roads and
It's up to you
right
guys.
I
away?
gotta figure this out first. Okay, great.
What's the next? Yeah.
We just need to come up with the date or not.
Oh, okay.
So the week of the 3rd,
do it right now and you can go on, or we do it later on. And I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna go through them all, I don't want
We
to.
could do, yeah, we could do it, why wouldn't we do it the third? November third.
Or the
Does that
fourth,
work
the
for everybody?
fourth, you're talking about the fourth, Tuesday?
That's election day.
Yeah.
Oh, the third. Could do the third.
Yeah,
Planning commission has a meeting, they're gonna meet upstairs down here, where they meet, John.
They usually meet down here at 6, I believe.
And we do it at 7?
Will they be done?
Will they?
I don't, there,
We can meet
Sorry,
upstairs.
future?
if they
We can-
want.
Yeah, we'll figure out.
You saw that river corridor thing, are they gonna be done by 7?
No.
No,
So,
very good point.
good point.
Well, we'll do it upstairs. So
That's true. We could
Monday,
go upstairs.
November 3rd at 7 o'clock. Does that sound good for everybody?
We just.
Or 6
I
better?
might not be there.
You're
I'm
not,
tied up that night.
you're not gonna be there, and it probably will snow by then.
how about the fifth?
This 5th or 6th, I'm available.
Yeah, I can do it the 5th or the 6th.
I don't know, when they get it figured out.
Okay,
Something?
okay. See you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Got it.
That's what happens when there's two filled bodies for too many places.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, I can do it the fifth or the
it
sixth.
was only for you two.
Are we all good?
What's the date that we're being thrown out now?
November
Sorry.
5th.
Sorry,
November
7:30
5th?
Upstairs.
yes,
Wednesday, November 5th?
got it.
That's it.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Where, 5 o'clock, or what time? Sorry.
Here, 7:30.
7:30?
7:30.
7:30, not
Oh,
7.
you wanna do it 7?
Earlier the
Seven.
better for me.
Earlier.
Seven
better.
PM. Okay,
Yeah,
let's do 7
perfect.
PM on the 5th.
Okay, and so this is for numbers 13 and 18.
So I guess you're gonna have to look how you're gonna warn that.
Yeah.
We're going right to, or no, we're not going right to executive session, we're doing the 13th first. then.
Better just call it the order and go directly. Session.
Right.
Okay,
Alright, so number 7.
We postponed it, everything's fine, but, enjoy the rest of your night. I'm serious.
I'll be just Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Minutes of the last meeting.
I just have a correction that in the spelling of my name and as
And
to
what
whose
happens
absence.
to you?
I'm sorry, yes, I see it now.
Yeah, that, I've never seen that spelling of my name.
Yeah, well, I'm really good
Many
at what I do.
choices, so I'm not
No. Sometimes I just reread it so much that I
Sorry.
get like blind.
I can say it.
Got it.
I could have hit just add and,
Yeah, everything looks
All right.
good there.
but I will fix that.
Thank you. It's great.
Motion to accept, we'll sign it when she gets correct spelling in.
I move that we accept these minutes with the corrected, with the
Second.
correction.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, number 8, the salt bid.
That's one I've ever gotten. I am under the assumption for the last, that this is what it is.
Yeah,
They're the only people around.
that's about the size of it.
Does
That's what
that
I
look good to you, Denny? Or, reasonable?
No, it's not reasonable, but
Does it look acceptable?
So this is,
this is road salt.
I know that.
Hi.
Is it $98 a ton? Is that what the?
And we're getting
Is that what it is?
$425.
Yes.
We're getting
I said, I didn't,
I thought there was a delivery amount, because it said delivery, so I'm thinking, so how much is the actual dollar amount here? Okay.
well, you get your calculator out. And right to the right of it, he says. It's gonna be about $42,500.
Yeah, no, I saw the 425 estimated tons, I just didn't understand, okay. My other question is on the top of it, you've got billing information. Address of 24 Moses Pond Road, right? But then shipping information, 12 Lawrence Hill. Is that all correct, or should that be flipped?
Well, I've never changed it because we seem to be getting,
To the right place?
yeah,
Okay, as long as they're not dumping the salt on
I will
12
go
I was
Morris.
like,
over
wait,
it with
is like,
him,
is that even the address?
I haven't ever.
I read that
changed
twice, I'm like, I think that that's
them.
flipped.
I think it's a pretty good increase, but, the way things have been going, it doesn't surprise me.
Wow,
It also sounds like Jeff said that he didn't think he was gonna need very much. So-
No, what Jeff said was his salt shed was full right now, and he was gonna try and get through the first of the year. So he didn't go over on the salt budget, cause he's maxed it out now.
So this
I
is really
believe
for
that's
next
what
year.
he said.
Okay,
You can
it's all right.
check
this
it
is
out.
coordination, okay.
So do we need a motion?
Yeah.
I make a motion to accept this quote from Cargill Salt and Road Safety at 98.25 per ton at 425 tons.
Second,
Discussion. For me to sign it, this one's signature. All in favor?
Aye.
We're passing on 9, is that it? Or-
Yeah, I have not, as I said, I thought that hopefully I would have some information about the subdivision from MSK, but I just haven't received it yet, and Will hadn't got anything when I spoke with him this morning. That was real hope for me.
Let's see. And
I'm guessing we're not gonna get that report, or do we have it?
I don't see
What?
one.
I have a one pager here.
I have one page, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's the first one I think I'm really seeing, and maybe not, but
What's the difference between, I don't know, can
Pardon?
I, what's the West River Capital Partners and the West River Weston Hotel Partners?
Just
What's the
government
difference? Yeah,
Tax thing.
okay. Is this
so-
the same person applying for both? That's why I asked.
well, she's their administrator,
Okay.
I think, so it's probably different
Okay.
corporations.
Hmm.
That are divided for, as you say, tax purposes or whatever. I have a question about the final column there. So if we skip down to the third one, 2025-06,
Mhm.
Buzzy Girl Realty. We've got, application was completed 7/8/25, it was approved 7/23/25, appeal 7/23/26. Does that mean they have until then to appeal? And it has to be started by 1/23/20? I don't understand what these dates are.
and they don't line up with these words. It was very confusing to me.
Yeah, so,
So they're appealing the decision
or they can appeal. They have until,
that
I'm
time?
interpreting it as
Right,
they
right,
have-
right,
Once
yeah.
a decision is rendered, it gets, permit, once a permit is issued, it's posted in here. And then, people have 30 days to appeal it. So I don't have that report, but I mean, does that sound like the 30 days?
It looks like a year. Approved 9/3/25, appeal, the date for that is 9/3/26. And then the start is 3/3/28. So I guess we need to get explanation of what this refers.
No, you know what,
I've
that's,
had eye surgery. I'm disagreeing with you.
no,
Number
because
three?
it's because that doesn't line up. to it.
7/3.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I was reading the fourth one. Good for you, Denny, thank you. Sorry, I was reading the fourth one, not the first one.
Okay,
Anyway, but it's still a year. 7/23/25 to 7/23/26 is approved to appeal, and then to start is 1/23/28. Did I get it right that time?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is to start what?
I don't think
That's a
so.
good question.
I think, I'm sorry, I'm reading this differently.
Uh,
Approved
if you go back,
7/8/25,
it's an
appeal
access
25.
porch or a screen porch.
But
Go
that-
to the middle column. There's 5 columns. Middle column says screen porch.
Yeah, so,
Well, she asked what it was, didn't you, Debbie?
Oh, no, I did, fine, thank you.
can we just ask for clarity on this report, because it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, and is it 1 year or is it,
I think
it's
it's
supposed to be
because
30
this is
days?
lining up. I think it's approved on the 8th, and I think it's appeal by 7/23. And then start in 26 and finish by 28. I think that's what it's saying.
Okay,
Yeah, I think.
You're right, it
these
doesn't line
columns
up.
don't line up,
That's the problem.
But you make them line up, but
Then it would
sometimes
make
you don't
sense.
have enough columns to make it work out.
I see what you're saying, but still, can we just get,
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
clarity.
it needs to be correct, it's not.
Right again.
Good night. Thank you, Deb.
Thanks, Deb. Okay.
All right.
This is all, right?
Yeah.
Alright, buyout request number 11.
So we received a letter from Don Merlano. He was the former tenant of Norman Jake Hart. And he is asking for reimbursement for roughly 70 gallons of propane. I did draft a letter, which is behind the original letter. That's the research that I have done. I don't know if anyone else wants to look into it. I do believe that the propane tanks are privately owned. I don't even know what provider he's used or was using.
I thought your letter was really well done.
Yeah, I like
Yes,
your
I
letter.
agree.
The letter
I
was
thought
great.
The letter was terrific, and I
Yeah.
wanted to know what the date of it was, but it's just a draft, you haven't sent it yet.
I haven't sent it, no.
Yeah, okay, great, I'd go with
I
that,
think it's
looks
great
good to me.
Yep.
So you're
Thank
fine
you.
with me
Yeah.
dating it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Is all I need to know.
The only question I had, and this is sort of maybe too technical, but the town will allow reasonable access to the property. The town, we're not the ones to provide access, it's
Not yet.
FEMA that owns it, or the buyout, they're gonna have to do the tear down and
Because
do
it's
all
not
that
done yet.
stuff.
It will eventually be ours,
It
but
will
not yet.
eventually be ours, but,
But I do allow, like, the asbestos people came in the other day to look at that, so like. I do have the keys to the buildings, you know what I mean,
Great,
so that's what
okay.
I meant, like,
that's fine.
they wouldn't
You've
call up
you've
FEMA and
answered
say
my
like, I
question.
need
Yeah.
Right,
to get in here.
FEMA's not gonna be bothered with something
Yeah.
like that. Okay, great. Thanks,
So do
Sean,
we
that's
need,
terrific.
I think you just send the
Okay.
letter, I don't think we need a motion for that. But. So.
It was a great
Yeah, that
letter.
was a great letter.
It was a great letter.
John's gonna be a lawyer.
No.
Yes, sure.
We're
Okay,
not
so
doing
now we have
13.
Now we have the fuel oil bids.
Yep. This first bid is from HV Energy. Fuel options 5,600 gallons. And I say it isn't quite clear enough for that one.
Looks like guaranteed pre-buy is $2.69 a gallon, $2.69.9. Budget payment would be $1,600. Total price $15,114. And then there are bids for boiler service at $289 for each of 2, 4, 5 boilers, and a total of $1,445. In the bronze service plan.
All read.
Used to bad handwriting from students.
Usually it's like doctors and
I
lawyers.
was gonna say your future.
Is that the only one we've got?
No, we
No,
got
we've got a
three.
couple more.
Okay. And the budget payment is the same amount. I mean, I don't see why we don't, I mean, if we take this, why pay all up front? I would put it to Kim that might make more sense to, pay monthly. But, you know, that has a cost.
It was 289.
289.
Mhm.
289 or 269?
289.
Oh, boy.
Total coming to 1,400.
289 for annual boiler service.
Oh,
Per
sorry.
boiler, 2.69 for the pre-buy. And budget payment, you're right. Well, wait a minute.
No, that's one. Oh, yeah. you're right.
They both say 269,
They
but
say
yet,
that's
but yet they
269.
come out with two different because of monthly. Okay.
Yeah, it's some, yeah, it's the monthly.
Understood. Total price, same
Over a period of 9
15.
months.
Got it. It's clear as mud.
Thanks.
What do we use now, HV?
Marcel.
Okay.
Coda and Coda, have we read that?
Well, they haven't.
Okay, it's $3.15 per gallon for a total of $17,640 dollars. That's a daily market price as of October, but a fixed fuel cost, I guess that is their price, is $2.95. And yeah.
So it's 295.
Yeah, and they're so that total price is $16,520, and they're charging $135 per hour for the service, so they're not exactly equal.
So they're not giving it flat on the boilers, okay.
I'm guessing you can do a pretty good boiler service in 2 hours. Just throwing that out.
In which case.
Which is 270, which is the same.
Yep.
And this is Marcel.
$2.90 a gallon. Cash price capped at $3.25 a gallon if the price goes up, presumably. And the boiler service is $200 each for a total of $800 because they don't think the new furnace needs servicing in the town hall.
But they also said if needed on the.
Great, good, yep.
On the others.
On the others, yes, thank you.
Because what we have found over the years is when we change well, companies, they'll come in and service all about burners, and you'll find little things to
push it up.
Well, they don't want to be responsible for somebody else's servicing earlier. Yeah.
It's just a way of.
No, I understand that, but that's what they would say. So we use Marcel now.
Yeah.
They're
So
the
what
ones
did you
that put
say, it
the
was
new
290?
furnace.
Did you say?
290, yeah, or a total of $16,240.
But he's kept his price, and I don't see where the others have kept.
Well, that's if we agree to a cash price, I took that to mean that we would pay market price month to month. But he would cap it at $3.25, so it could go to $3.05 or we can pay for the whole thing. We contract for 5,600 gallons and pay it, I'm guessing at a budget, well, we either write him a check for, $16,240, which would be the whole bit thing, and I can't remember what HP was.
HB 269, it was 15 and change, 15.1 something, wasn't it? Where's HB?
You have the HP?
15,114. It says something about 9 months.
I think that's just, that's a 9-month
that 9
payment
months?
program.
Yeah, it does, and
Yeah,
another one
9
said 6 months, didn't it?
Yeah. The one thing I will say is last year Marcel gave us a bid, and any of the bills that we ever got never hit the bid price. They're always lower.
So in this case then, they're bidding at $2.90 a gallon with a cap at $3.25. So you're saying that in the past, it didn't even reach the $2.90.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If Kim was here, she could probably attest to it.
Cause they just give you a market, okay.
So if for the HB for the 269, that's not a set price, it could go up. Possibly, if they're, that wrong,
Good question, it's the question.
because if they're talking about doing a cap on, this one is, I don't know.
This is, okay, but the 269 is a guaranteed pre-buy.
Right.
So you
269.
write the check now.
Yeah, you're right.
So you're
Oh,
locking in,
15,000.
okay, so you're
Yeah.
locking in that price no matter what.
Right,
Yeah.
okay,
The
that's
other one
pretty
is
typical.
saying that it could, they'll cap it at 325, it goes up.
So Marcel's not offering a pre-buy at a lower number,
No.
Well, no, they are, 290.
that's a
You do it.
pre-buy.
That's the pre-buy.
That's the pre-buy.
Daily mark, that's what I think. It's a little unclear.
Well, they're running daily market price
Yeah,
of
yeah.
290, they're not saying, yeah, fixed price fuel cost, they don't have, that's blank.
Right. And they have
This is
sort of if you buy it at market, I took the 325 cap to mean that you buy it at whatever the market price was in a given month, but they cap it at 325.
Is there pressure to get this contract signed? Because what I was thinking is, we have these questions about what their
Go back
bids
to-
actually
We asked
mean,
them,
and
yeah.
maybe we should have Shauna
I
call them
don't-
and clarify.
We do pay month to month for Marcel, is what Kim, I just sent her a text.
Okay.
Again, I haven't been here very long, but they've been the provider that I've been here. I can text them.
Can we go back and ask them if they can give us a guaranteed pre-buy price, or no, does that make sense, cause that's what's empty here? Even though you're saying it always come down anyway,
Yeah, like,
They come lower
can they
anyway.
clarify it, maybe?
And just
Yeah,
to confuse things even more, Marcel is doing $200 per furnace, per boiler. So for 4 boilers, it's basically 300, we save $360 as compared to HB.
Because they're doing 289 per boiler,
Exactly,
so
exactly.
basically,
he also
what is,
says, I think if you read it on there, boiler, if needed.
yes,
Well, but there's still 4.
He's not gonna come in and take
Yeah.
care of your boiler.
if it doesn't need to be taken
So,
care of.
yeah, so
So it's not exorbitant
3.5,
charging for
5.5.
so it sounds like we've had him for a while and been happy with his service.
Do we have to make,
Yeah.
do we have to make a
Well, yeah.
motion to ask
Hey,
questions?
Kim's on here.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi there. I don't know what the price per gallon is, but in talking with the owner, Marcel, says he guarantees the lowest market price when he delivers. We have been paying month to month. They have been very easy to work with, and it's a lot more juggling on my end when you do a pre-buy. So I don't really like the pre-buy as a process. There was one other thing you had a question about, and I'm trying to remember what that was, but
Last year, Kim, he gave us a price, I forget what it was, but you told me once that he never came up to that price.
correct. right, he's always given us a pretty good price, whatever it's been, and he says he guarantees that. What other question did you just have? It slipped my mind.
I think that was it.
It's about the boilers, we were saying, just
Oh.
if needed, but
No, but also, what is well, my thought was, and I'm not, looking at the math right now, but
Oh,
what are we saving between the 269 pre-buyout, which Kim is not in favor of? Are we saving more money with the difference between the 289
It's
per?
about $1,000.
Okay,
Softened by 300, 400, $500 for the boilers.
Right.
So we're talking $500.
right.
I gotta say, I think Mark, Kim likes working with him.
Marcel.
He's a small guy
Yeah.
and this is a
Is
big
he
deal for
local?
him and
Yeah, he's right
I
around.
think he's local,
Yes.
local-ish. So I would have no problem voting to go with Marcel.
I second that. That wasn't a motion.
my only further comment is the reason to move forward with the contract is we're going to need an oil fill at some point soon. It's the furnace is now running.
You mean the October heat wave's over?
I'm thinking it might be, yeah.
I move that we accept the Marcel Oil Company bid for oil for the town of Weston.
I second. Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Kim, for
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks.
You might want to stay on.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
so paving roads and right away, maybe make some policies. We are in trouble. We have a number of people who have purchased properties and they used to stop at the grass line. Now they're going into the travel right away. And then this weekend I went up into the truck club and a guy actually had cones out traveled right away. Taking cars around. Now where the boundary is there, that's a questionable one. They'll have to research done, but he just barely bought the property and he's got cones up there. And they redid a driveway not far up the road here, didn't get a permit for it. And when that freezes up, water's gonna run right down into the road.
You mean like a blacktop they did, like
No, it's a gravel driveway.
Oh, gravel.
In the winter time after you plow, they freeze solid like blacktop.
Okay.
Rainstorm in the winter time, it's going. In the summertime, probably do the same thing after a while. It'll get wheel ruts in it and follow right down to the road. And
This is Trout Club Road. Is it below the Trout Club or above?
above.
But
Where
on-
I can't, where the house is right there in the corner where you turn out
Oh,
there
yeah,
on the road.
yeah, on the Turner, yeah,
Right there.
got it.
So,
Is that a new owner then?
so were we going to, table this to get Jeff's input on this too? That's my first question. My second question is, we have these, driveway paving and right of way, these two documents that came in the packet. Driveway paving right of way rules and then policy and procedure for addressing non-compliance with right of way access policy. Are these drafts or is this what exists now?
Those are, well, kind of like this exists when you get the access in a lot of these.
When you get the
So
permit, you
town
mean?
of Weston driveway paving and right of way rules, that's just something that I put together,
Okay.
in general.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what that means, just something you put together,
She
Just so
draft,
you could look at it quickly
okay.
give you an
and
idea.
have
So
like a
to have like a
rundown.
review of
Okay, it's an
it.
overview for us.
Yeah.
Okay,
And-
As
and
far as I know, there's no policy of
This stuff
enforcement or whatever.
is,
Is that
I,
up to
I
date?
think this state, V-Trans promulgates these,
Yes.
but, we've been using them, they're good rules.
And who does that go to? Whoever has the permit, when someone gets the
Yeah,
permit?
when somebody gets a driveway permit, they've gotta,
Okay.
And there's like
follow this.
4 or 5 of those graphs
And I
or,
have one other question. What's the history on this going back? Those of you that have done this for a while, like, have we ever enforced this? How is a new buyer informed of these rules? Like, or is it, maybe that's not a fair question because there's just a million rules and we.
it's a great question, and I think one that we should absolutely address.
What, years ago, I mentioned it, and it never went anyplace. But should be a welcome package put together that
Yeah.
covers everything, like the zoning, driveways, this and that, and the town clerk will be pretty much notified of every real estate transaction. And when the lawyer comes in, do the title search, say, this is our handout for the new buyer. Make sure they get it, cause there's rules and regulations in there.
and so are there a lot of them? I mean, it seems like there might be a lot of them, I mean, is that gonna be a packet of
Regulation, you mean?
50 pages or something, or is it,
Well, it all depends what you wanna make it. I mean,
okay,
like you've heard me say before, I think these damn driveway permits should be recorded in the deed. So if all the steps are not followed through, Brian, I think it
Didn't we
might
agree
be out.
that that penalty thing that we went through? you know?
Yeah.
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 Trying to remember.
So that
That's,
if they're not followed through and Jim Linville goes sell his place
There's a
and
lien on it.
there's a
lien for the-
restriction on it that has to be cleaned up before the sale can go through.
Yeah,
Right,
Isn't
right.
that the way them things work?
Well, I really love your idea of this packet. I mean, and I know, so at this point,
Yeah.
we can't include everything. But even if it broadly just said something to the effect of, just be aware that before you do basically anything, in terms of
by the town
construction or
road,
whatever,
yeah.
you need to check with us. But here's a couple of the ones that are most prominent that we want to put in front of you.
Yeah, nice.
Something to that effect. I think that would be
Yeah.
great.
I
Because
like
I
that.
was thinking, I mean, I didn't, my driveway doesn't matter, but,
You're on the state.
yeah, right, that's what I'm saying, my driveway doesn't matter, but I mean, like, I didn't know any of this existed.
Matters to
I'm
Mark
ignorant,
Pickering.
I'm ignorant to.
Well, I have a
and
question.
A lot of people are.
Doesn't it go back to safety in reference to town vehicles and plowing? Like, for example, like if people are paving with blacktop on and it's going into a town road that is dirt.
Right.
And it gets washed away and then the blacktop is out there and then the plows are coming through and it messes up the plow, right? Am I wrong? No, I mean, isn't it
Well,
like,
that's one of the things.
that's just like.
The other thing is more often than not, a driveway that, comes, that is above the grade of the town road.
Yeah.
If you just bring it right down to the town road, particularly if it's paved, all the water washes off and washes into the town road.
Right.
So that is why these sketches here show that the driveways all have to go below the town road grade. And then they've got to have a culvert under the driveway. And that culvert, even though it's in the town right of way, has to be installed by the homeowner or the property owner and maintained by the property owner. Well, I gotta say, well, the culvert's, stopped up and that's your fault. I'm sorry, no, it isn't, but a lot of people feel that way. And
Absolutely.
and that's why I think, Brian, your idea you know, how we reach out to create awareness. And I think maybe we ought to mention it at town meeting.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking, I don't know if we're
Give
gonna
a
get,
little, give a little speech.
we might get rocks thrown at us, but. But
No,
But also, I mean, I might get rock owners, but at the same time, like, is it just because it wasn't dealt with before?
right,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the rocks should be thrown, really, you know, in my opinion.
Well, whether.
You know what I
whether or
mean?
not-
Like, maybe
Whether or not
tissues,
they
but,
should
you
be
know,
thrown or are thrown.
right?
yeah.
Kim has something.
I can.
Hi, it's me again. So I had a project that's kind of stalled on my desk that would be related to this in the form of a welcome letter. And it almost needs to be written for year-round residents or not, you know, non-residential. But I would welcome an opportunity maybe to sit with Shauna and we could pull it in to be more of a townwide thing. Because one of the things that I do see is that zoning is maybe perceived as optional until somebody sees something happening on a new owner's property and brings it to the zoning attention. And it needs to encompass things like election and where the transfer station is, and that we have zoning and dog regulations and access permits are required. So I'd be happy to pull that out of the to-do pile and maybe make it more of a welcome letter, but here's some of the key things you really need to know.
That'd be
If
great.
that would be okay.
Well, we could do the welcome letter, but carry it one step further and place it in the town report for the people that are already here.
Yep.
So, you know, a lot of new homeowners wouldn't get that welcome letter, so if we put
Right.
a page in the
That would
a great
be
idea.
It's a good
you know,
idea.
Yep.
A good subject for the select board report for the town report.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Yeah, I'm
stick
just
that in there.
throwing out
I mean,
ideas.
I know that everybody reads that. I mean, everybody gets their town report and immediately goes to the select board report.
no, they go to the bottom line of how much money we spend.
But
Right.
then it could be mentioned
Well-
at town meeting. Please
Oh,
take a look at
absolutely,
this.
yeah.
Please take a look at this.
And I'll carry this one step further. This will cost you some money. But the state of Vermont did this and they were very quiet about it. I don't know how it was set up, but they sent a vehicle. I don't know if it went up one side and down the other, but they photographed their highways all through the state, and it showed all the accesses. So that when somebody claimed, oh, I've had an access there, they go back to the film and, well, this is a picture of it, there's no access. And that happened with the bridge up here. She claimed she had 2 accesses, and the state went back and pulled the film out and says, there's never been another access here. There was before she built it and they took their pictures, but she ended up with just one up there.
Well, I think there needs to be like.
Something
Moving,
like-
well, moving,
Yeah.
moving forward, there
Yeah.
needs to be like
Yeah.
like the line, like, you know, like a before and after, a realm comparison.
Oh, well, you know, we've got Google Maps now,
Yeah,
but those get updated.
yeah, they did, that's
Yeah.
right, so I don't know, and I don't know that.
But that's what the state did, was they went around
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know, it's cost and they're very quiet about it, but it gives them a leg to stand on.
Mhm.
So it seems like, okay, so we've talked about how we're gonna let owners know. New owners get the welcome letter. Old owners are gonna read about it in the town report, and it'll be mentioned in town meeting. We also have the question of whether we have a policy that's written, and this is sort of the draft that Shauna has given us. We have to decide what, I guess, maybe decide or accept this as policy. And then we also have to figure out how to deal with violations, which are many in town.
Yeah, because you're
Happening every day.
you're gonna end up with he said, she said, the landowner will say, well, that was the contractor's responsibility, and whoever signs the permit should be the one held liable.
Doesn't
If there is a permit, but what if there's no
what if there's
permit?
no permit?
Then
Then it's the homeowner, right?
I would say,
But then that goes hand in hand with us fining them and then putting a lien on it, correct?
somehow you gotta get that lien put in the deed. So
Right, and
when they
that's part
come,
of one of these things.
Or is it a
Yeah.
lien on it?
Yeah.
when they come do the research, that, they get straightened out. It may be 20, 30 years down the road before it gets straightened out, but eventually it'll come back to bite them.
Well, here it says recording of permits. Permits are recorded in town land records. That means violations or permit conditions run with the land. And
Yeah.
so they're binding
Yeah.
on future owners.
I think everybody take them things home and read them and, look at them after next meeting.
I agree.
Okay.
And do you want this
Kim?
on the special meeting on the 5th?
No.
No.
No, got it.
Kim?
We can't hear you.
She's not listening to us.
We can't hear you.
Muted me. So when homeowners get a wastewater permit, they are instructed to bring it in and have it recorded in our land records. And we could essentially do the same with the formal approval letter for the access permit. We just haven't done anything more than put them in the permit folders, I believe. So food for thought.
Because there's 4 steps, I believe, in the, application, and very rarely is the 4th step ever completed.
The closeout.
Yeah. So, everybody read them, make your little notes, and see what you wanna do with them. And before somebody falls asleep over there, I guess we gotta get going for taxes.
Actually, I'm pretty good. I had a cup of coffee.
We don't have a coffee pot in here, so. Alright, going for taxes. Have you got any comments you wanna make on it, or?
I mostly have questions. I'm just wondering, we started with the delinquent tax policy. Then we went to, the second draft was a tax policy, which was gonna be a combination of both. And now we're back to a delinquent tax policy.
Tax
collection
This
policy.
was the last one that I received, I thought, from Kim. She had reworded it, and I can double check.
Which is the last one, the delinquent tax?
I mean, doesn't matter to me. I
I
was
put them all
just-
together, so now.
You wanted to do
Yeah,
a
okay, I
combination
added other ones.
policy.
into it.
This is neat.
Now we're back to, fine, I'm just curious.
I just think that this should be a delinquent tax
It's
collection
simpler.
policy.
I agree with you.
Definitely
Because
simpler.
a tax policy is.
No,
It's
no.
an
right.
overview,
Just
no,
tax
this is tax
Yeah.
collection.
Do you
Absolutely.
agree with that, Kim?
I didn't bring it with me. I thought we meant to have a tax collection policy in which we would have current taxes and then delinquent taxes. And I'm sorry if I didn't present it that way. It's however you think there's best the clarity would be best.
So you think, so, wait, so you,
This is basically a delinquent.
yeah, but are you saying that you wanted to do a whole tax policy, then like a
No.
substandard, a sub part of it that was a collection, or?
No, the tax collection policy is easy. You get a bill and you pay it before
Right.
the due date.
Right.
Well, I don't think we need to, so really the whole issue is delinquent taxes, I think.
Yeah, I think Kim was saying something different. Were you, Kim?
Well, that was the direction I had been given at the last meeting, was that it should say current taxes and delinquent taxes, and they were two very different things. So I'm fine with having just a delinquent tax policy and pulling out current taxes entirely, or maybe there were just definitions to clarify things, but anyway, that was based on the direction I thought I'd been given the last time. That's all.
And that's what I remember too, Kim, because I have the second draft was September 9th, I think was that meeting. It was handed out at that meeting, but it was too much to deal with, so they tabled it. And that was the one where you did the combination. And I remember talking to you about it and saying that's what they wanted.
Does it get too muddled to have one
well.
Tax
thi-
policy.
This is delinquent tax policy.
Right.
But Kim was saying,
It's simpler. Well, no, this is the one you got the last time. It's a tax policy.
Right, but this one we have in our packages now,
Right,
it's a
and
delinquent
this is the
tax
third
policy,
one,
yeah.
yes, which was
And-
also the first one.
And I like this, but I've got some changes that I think I would recommend to this before we sign it.
And I just had a question as well. Oh, but it was on the agreement, not on the policy, so. The agreement that came with.
The letter of
policy.
agreement, yeah,
Yes,
right.
sorry, so.
That's right. No, no,
It's all fine with me, I'm not gonna,
So,
I was just curious.
yeah, so here are the, well, if we like this in general, I thought that we ought to include in definitions the due date and define it, which is, you know, the due date is the date voted on in town meeting each year that taxes are due on.
Okay.
That's under,
And then delinquent, that's under 2 definitions.
okay, it's all, but I'm just saying that is under number 3.
Stick with me.
Okay.
Then on billing and due dates, I say annual tax bills are issued by the town treasurer. Yes, they are. Payments must be received by 5 p.m. on the due date.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh,
Okay,
leave out
I
that first
understand.
sentence.
So, yeah, because we've already defined due date. And then penalties and interest. That first bullet point is interest and penalty are applied. It should be are.
Well, actually,
Or should it be is?
it should be interest of 1%, and there needs to be a space.
Yes, yes, for sure.
And penalty of 8%, and that second word, that second penalty should be not in there. So interest of 1% and penalty of 8%
Yeah,
is applied to any unpaid balance. The day
is
after.
or are. You know the answer to that question.
Interest and penalty are applied.
You're right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Are applied to any unpaid balance the day after the due date. Not the voted upon, it's the due date,
Yep.
Okay,
which has been defined. Then we're fine repayment plans. Taxpayers who are unable to pay their delinquent taxes in full may request from the collector reasonable repayment plan, and collector has been defined up in.
And I think you should say in writing.
I'm sorry, yes, in writing.
Okay, I apologize. Where are you looking?
I'm on
the second
number 5
page.
repayment plan.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're putting it from the collector.
Yeah, first bullet
In
point,
writing.
so just to go over that sentence again, taxpayers who are unable to pay their delinquent taxes in full may request from the collector in writing a reasonable repayment plan,
Yes.
okay? And then, we're good. That's it.
On the other version of this, one of the versions, when we got to repayment plans, the third bullet point, it talked about them being that they must be signed, but I don't know that we need to detail that because it's actually being signed on this. So I don't know
Yeah,
that
right.
we need that, we don't necessarily need that in there then, right?
I would agree with that.
Shouldn't miss it.
I know that you gave me the direction that it had to be signed by both the collector and the property.
Yeah, okay,
As
So-
long as we have-
figure out how to say that, yeah.
Well, we have it on this form.
It's on the form.
letter
Oh,
of
it's on the
agreement,
form.
So we,
Okay.
yeah, so we.
Great.
So I like that.
Those are good changes.
Those are
Jen.
good
Thank you.
changes, yeah.
And can we look at the letter of agreement? You had some questions about that, Gretchen.
The only question I had is, I kind of compared this one to, the one that came from the handbook. In here is, and it's just, I don't have an opinion, but I just wanted to bring it up. the agreement is void if any
Where are
new
you?
taxes.
Where are you? Sorry.
Well, I'm, on the, appendix one.
Oh, I see, okay.
The only thing that's not in the
That's
one
fine.
you have
Sorry.
that came with the policy is, and I just have a question mark number 6, and number 6 is, and that's on the appendix one, this agreement is void if any new taxes become delinquent during the repayment period.
Oh,
That's what that says. It says in ours, it says if any of these payments, it's void, but the new thing, it occurred to me might be important, that if like, now they're delinquent, if they sign this, it's based on, say, 25 taxes. But if they become delinquent on 26 taxes, it changes this agreement.
No, here's how
Okay.
I think about that. If they keep to the agreement and cure their delinquency in 25, let's say they've got a
Okay.
bunch of delinquent taxes. Then they don't pay their 26 taxes. That's a new delinquency, and the clock is running again. Because now you have another 2 years to cure that before you put the property up for tax sale. You see what I'm saying?
I think there's two different things going on here. I think what she's saying is they've got an agreement and the taxes aren't completely caught up, and then the next year's comes out. She's saying that voids the agreement because now you're looking at 2 years. You're talking that they've got their taxes almost caught up, and when the 26 comes out, it starts the clock on the 26 tax year, not on what.
Not on the 25, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
That's what I thought.
So I don't think it changes it, it's just you've got one delinquency, and if you satisfy it, then you deal, but they haven't paid their next year's taxes, then you've got a new delinquency that starts
But,
all
Should be
over.
year specific.
but, correct me if I'm wrong, and I kid me. Your agreement would have them schedule payments
Right.
so that they would be caught up by the time the 26 taxes are due. Is that correct? If you write an agreement with somebody, from what I read and read between the lines, their payment should be so much a month, so that by the 3rd of October this year, their last payment should have been made on
Well, that's the hope, yes.
That's what's written in here. Repayment plans must be structured to ensure full payment within the time period accepted by the town not to exceed the end of the next fiscal year.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering what the question is here now. If they're not caught up, what's your procedure if they haven't caught up? And then 26 taxes roll around.
Yeah, but the clock is running because they're delinquent on their 25 taxes.
Right.
And they continue to be delinquent on their 26, so a tax sale is coming up in a hurry now.
I don't understand.
I don't think so. I think if they've got a signed agreement and they're paying, even though they haven't got quite caught up, they continue to pay and finally get their 24s paid off, and the 25s are due, then that starts a new clock.
Doesn't that just start a new,
Yeah.
I guess
I
I was under the
agree
impression
with
started a new delinquent tax agreement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
It would have,
but
so
isn't
it
there-
voids this one, that's where my question.
no, it doesn't
I
void it, it doesn't void it.
That's
No,
just
no.
not how I thought about it.
No, it
That's
doesn't
why
void it.
I didn't. But I'm not saying
And
that
I'm not either,
I
I'm just
just-
saying it was.
my brain didn't think about it.
When when it said new, I was, Kim, what do you think?
Well, I think that we're almost in that kind of situation now where we've had some delinquents that taxes that have not been on a payment plan. They're well past the year. We're now in the new tax year, becoming delinquent. So how would you process that? And that is the question. So if somebody's on a payment plan for, let's say, 24, and they don't get paid by October 3rd of 25, so now 24 payment plan is voided because they didn't stick to it, and now they have 25 delinquent. So you'd almost have to void the 24 so that you can either set up a new payment plan that takes care of 24 and now gets 25 under the program and the process.
But I have a question. Is there an extra like penalty added onto that because they didn't come?
No.
No.
but
I'm
I think-
just curious the wording in here.
But if, again, in our example, you've got a payment plan for 24. It's supposed to be complete by the due date in 25, October 2nd, whatever it is. And they haven't paid it off. So now, and they don't pay their taxes on October 2nd either. So I think the first money that we get from them goes toward paying off the 24 delinquency.
Oh, always. It does
Right,
already.
Exactly. So now the clock starts again. If they pay anything, if they can pay off their 24, now they just have a 25 delinquency and the tax sale, and then you work out a repayment plan for them. And, they're either gonna get caught up or
Right.
or not, but the most they can get behind is a year. Right? No, they can get behind 2 years. If they clear up 24 and then they have 2 years to clear up 25 and 26 before they start a tax sale. You see what, I'm not saying it very well.
So
but-
No, I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
Right, just.
First of all, I know what the policy has to say what the policy says, but I think I asked how many times we've had to get to this, and I think maybe it was one where you tried to sell somebody's house, right now, without going to the new year, which Kim and I are gonna do on Friday, once she's waited for everything to come in,
Or not.
well, due dates,
Yeah.
like she has to wait for the mail, and so,
Yeah.
there's one person who is within the 2 years. He's 24 and 25, or 25, 23 and 24, you know who I'm talking about. And, it's lumped together as one amount, in NEMRIC, and if he sends any money in, it goes to the oldest. But, I don't see, and he just passed away too, so that's kind of in limbo, as to what the estate is doing. So, I'm not gonna ask the lawyer to start any proceedings on something like that.
I don't know.
Would we be passing this by our attorney anyway? So maybe we can.
I think we have to talk to our attorney.
Right.
Cause I think,
Before you go to the attorney, I think you ought to ask Wayne about it. He has a pretty good handle on the 5 ways of abating taxes, and one of them was death. And he may have a straight answer for you about, all right, this
Good
guy's,
idea.
For free?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
yeah, Wayne,
Okay, no, I'm
Wayne,
saying that's the.
no,
point
he's
of
head of
this.
the Board of Civil Authority,
Right,
and
right.
he may have run into this situation before, and there may be some statutes that, I don't know about.
Sure.
But there may be some statutes that this is how you have to deal with in that state.
Right. Well, and what I'm saying, when I say for free, I'm saying every time we call the lawyer. he's
Well,
gonna-
that's what I'm
But we have
saying,
to
Dr.
call the
Wa-
lawyer. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I understand. I understand.
Then you
that's-
go to the lawyer.
But that's that one particular case,
Right,
this person
Right.
who's recently died.
right.
But that doesn't answer our question about, if the taxpayer fails to make, and I'm reading the default on the letter.
Mhm.
If we fail to make any scheduled payment, this agreement is void. Now presumably,
That applies to what he signed, yeah.
right, so presumably that the end date of those payments is October 2nd, because the new tax year starts
October 3rd.
October 3rd or whatever,
Right.
right? Okay,
Right.
so if they're behind on those payments and have failed to make a scheduled payment, then I guess my question is the new repayment agreement going to include the old taxes as well as the presumably
It would
new
have to.
taxes?
It would
Okay,
have to.
okay.
And that's why I thought if there's new taxes, this whole thing needs to be redone. That was my.
Yeah. So I also have a question. Under, on the delinquent tax collection policy, not the letter, but the policy. Under repayment plans. Third bullet under repayment plans. Repayment plans must be structured to ensure full payment within a time period acceptable to the town, not to exceed the end of the next fiscal year.
That was my question too, because I said it out loud, I said, what year are we talking about?
Yeah, so
Fiscal
that would,
year,
that
we
would
gotta
suggest
start
that,
then.
let me just, it seems to me that that would suggest that if I don't pay my taxes in 24, then I have to the end of 25 in order to pay them.
That's what it says.
Right.
I
right,
think
see
some
what you're
wording
saying,
has to be
yeah.
changed here, if you think
Yeah.
about it, because it says physical year.
Yeah, it
Fiscal year.
can't be.
And
Fiscal,
it
so
should
then
be,
the end of the fiscal year.
tax date or
End of
something,
that fiscal year, not take out next.
not physical year, you gotta have your tax date.
The
stated,
next due date,
Because, for
Which-
example,
due date,
Instead
yeah,
of
next
fiscal
due date,
year.
whatever the
Right.
fuck.
which is
Next
in the
due date.
definitions.
Not to exceed the due date of the next tax year.
The end of the,
Yeah.
Not to exceed
the end of the next,
due date.
okay, not due.
Cause that would give
Of
them
the
another
current or
3
the
months
next?
and really
For the
complicate
next-
Oh,
Yeah.
due date of the next tax year,
The
which
next
is,
yeah.
tax
which is within that year.
Yeah.
year.
Okay, so
Other nice.
now I have another question. And
That
this
was
strikes
good,
me
'cause I
as
was
being
wondering.
sort of difficult for you, Gretchen, potentially. Interest rates, it's 1% per month for the first 3 months of delinquency. It's 1.5% per month beyond 3 months.
Right.
So let's say they don't finish the repayment plan, they don't fulfill the repayment plan, and so they still owe money, tax money at the end of the tax year. Then that money still needs to be, that delinquent tax still needs to be penalized at 1.5 per month, but new taxes, if they don't pay the new taxes, then that's 1%.
Correct.
So
For-
that's
well,
some
it's-
math for you.
Yeah, it's
Well,
8%.
But I know you're good at math.
Kim does that, I think.
Well,
on the
but
new
Nemrick
taxes.
does
They
it,
got it.
and you
Yeah.
just have to put the right, you just have to punch
Okay.
in the right
Okay,
dates
so
for
it's
the
not a
right.
big deal. Okay, great.
Well, it just, I'm still learning, you know, I'm still learning. I run downstairs when I'm here and ask lots of questions, don't I, Kim?
Just a couple.
He hasn't shot me yet for getting her into it.
Okay, so I guess what we're saying is that we need to run, you're gonna ask Wayne that question
Sure.
about, I've forgotten the question we're gonna ask Wayne.
We're gonna talk about the reasons why we would
That
have
person
Abate.
is,
abate
If the
the
person
taxes.
Oh,
dies,
the death.
Yeah,
the death thing.
That's right, thank you. But the rest of this needs to be run by the lawyer?
Yes.
No.
No, not run by the lawyer.
Don't we have to
Well,
have this
don't we ha-
approved by a lawyer? I don't know.
Well, the question is, do we have to have it approved by? Well,
What happened was, I contacted the lawyer in the very beginning and we needed to add the $1,500. It has to be over $1,500 and it has to be for 1 year.
Okay,
We already had, I believe, the 1 year in the old one. But we didn't have the $1,500. That was one of the new rules that was adopted July 1st.
contact
And
sales.
I sent him our old policy, and that's the only direction I got from him about that.
Okay, him or
But should-
her?
But should the lawyer look at this letter of
Lawyer.
agreement?
Oh, the
This is-
tax
this is a
lawyer. Okay,
contract.
right,
Shouldn't the
different lawyer.
lawyer look at that?
Good question.
Yeah, but I don't really feel comfortable signing, like having anything signed without having the lawyer look at it.
Well, the lawyer has looked at it, and the only question,
With the changes that were made.
we're
Right.
not making any changes except.
Oh, you're talking about
This
the
tax
actual
policy, Shauna,
contract.
from the old one, basically. And like I said, the only thing he said, I do have an email where he says that. I'm not sure I brought
Then
it.
it's fine, that's all right, so it's fine except for the $1,500
It
thing.
was, those were the
Okay.
only two things when I sent him the old policy. He said the only two things, or the only two things that were new was, it was 1 year and $1,500. And we already had the 1 year in our old policy.
Okay, so the changes we made tonight, Katie, were they're just really wording changes.
Wording
They're not
changes.
changes in the substance of the policy.
Great, okay.
Right, already in the old policy,
So I thought that was great for me.
and then $1,500, that's a note I have on. That's the only changes he told us to make.
So he did not see the letter of agreement for the repayment policy.
No, he did not see that.
We should have him look at that, yeah.
Yeah.
I found
Yeah,
that.
The
in the
names
handbook.
did stand out to me.
Oh, was that in some kind of a handbook?
Well, I gave you guys the sample, and then the one that Shauna just gave us all with the policy. He did that based on that, correct?
Yes.
What handbook was that? I'm sorry. This is
It was my,
tax handbook.
delinquent tax collector handbook
Handbook, yeah.
So
that
you guys-
Shauna printed out for me about this thick, the first thing.
So
Got
this
it.
is an approved letter of agreement.
It is a model, yeah,
Okay, great.
and, I mean, I think we can adjust.
I'm
it
comfortable
however
with
we
that.
want.
I am too.
Yeah, if it came from
If-
something like
But
that.
if someone is uncomfortable, you know, it's gonna cost us less than $100 to have a lawyer review this. They'll read it, email it to them, and they'll come back and say, yeah, that looks fine, or gee, you ought to change this. You know,
I'm okay with it.
it's a cheap insurance
Do
policy.
you want me to do that, or do you want to do that?
The question is whether we want to do it at all.
Yeah, I think I would like to see sort of the final draft of this whole thing. And then we can decide whether we wanna. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah, the only concern I have is that this is going into action because we've got delinquent taxes already. If we wait
Yeah.
for the next meeting to see the final draft and then decide we want to send it to a lawyer, that's gonna delay things another month.
Yeah, because Kim and I had talked about, and we had talked, I think, about sending this out with the new batch of notices for the current.
So how about we get it typed up, email it to everybody, and if we like it, we'll put it on the table and people can come in and sign it. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that works.
That'll,
Okay,
and we'll have a clean copy that
moving quickly.
will
That's
be
good
signed.
news.
That's great.
It'll be by the end of this week, I hope. To make it legal, we just need 3 signatures, right?
Easy.
So if everybody's
Well,
comfortable with
what we
that,
need to do is vote on it and in the motion say that people come in and sign the typed up copy.
yeah. So I move that we approve this delinquent tax collection policy as modified and that we will come in and sign it once it's typed up.
Clean copy.
Yeah, you just sign a clean copy once we have it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
And you'll just give us your payments when it's ready, Shawna?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Gretchen.
Gretchen,
you.
You've been very
I
patient.
hope that coffee wears off soon, so you
I know,
can get some sleep.
I'm actually a little jumpy, I'm like, so I do too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So is this the, oh,
This is the revised one, right? That you sent us.
so we've got the old one and we have the revised. one.
Correct.
Okay.
And we've seen this a couple of times, right? I mean,
Yeah, I saw-
We've never talked about it, it's been in the
oh,
package.
okay, I know I've read it before.
It was tabled a couple of times.
Okay. Well, I think yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's a lot more succinct than the first one, I'll tell you that.
That's for sure.
I went through it, I thought it was really great.
Yeah,
It was succinct, it was straightforward, and
yeah, and I didn't think it was, I didn't see any serious internal contradictions.
you know, I
A
think it
lot
was-
of the main thing really we did was just raise the 10,000 informal bid
Yeah,
to 15,000, just because with the way everything was going.
just to get things going, we can table it, but I'll move approval. We'll move that we sign it.
Second, I looked through the whole thing and I'm comfortable with it compared to the first.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Look at how easy that was, folks.
Whoa.
Donna, you
Thing we
did
did
great
today.
work.
Yeah, you did, that was really nice. Just nice.
Brian, can I borrow your pen?
By all means, yeah, thanks. Not one anyway. I forgot. Put that in the drawer.
Can I borrow the pen you're holding?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it seems to be that time of night, isn't it?
Has been.
Lucky if I make it past the 7:30 bedtime.
Oh, geez.
This is the late.
Well, I'll tell you, Wyndham Regional thing was
Yeah.
quite confusing and
Yes.
That's for sure.
And there's,
Long.
more coming down. Act 250 changed and
Yes, it
there's a
is.
lot. Matt couldn't attend this meeting, thank goodness now, but there's a lot more.
payroll, first one is.
19.
19, yeah.
So just to get the ball rolling, I'm gonna move approval of check warrant report number 19 for payroll in the amount of $15,272.42.
I second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Jeez. And
That's
similarly
a
to
signature?
to
See, I was
keep
gonna
the
be one of those
ball,
guys that should have been a doctor, but I never was. Sloppier than normal, I have to admit.
My dad's used to be like this. It was like,
Sorry, Jim, go ahead.
back in the day, we did a couple of industrial revenue bonds, which was to do a big capital expenditure. And that's where that signature came from. You just walked around the table signing, and you must have signed, I must have signed 150 times.
You didn't know what you were signing at the end, right? Yeah.
Yeah, at some point, your lawyers are with you. And
Yeah, you're
have
just-
to suspend this.
Go with God.
Yeah. So Exactly. So I'm gonna move, approval of accounts payable check warrant report number 19 in the amount of $78,822.63.
Second.
Discussion on. Favor.
It is?
No, unfortunately. You got 17, 18. Anybody got anything under that?
Oh, the new, oh, so we're doing 17 November 5th, right?
No, got something under 18.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we gotta go, or I think we should go to executive session and we are legally allowed to do it. It's for land. I don't know what number you'll have to put with it, Shauna.
To do with land? Okay,
Yes.
land purchase.
This is something new, okay.
Okay.
It won't take
Great. Sorry.
Okay, I got you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we need to stop the recording, right?
Did you make a motion to an executive?
Yeah, we need a motion.
I move we go into executive session for the, under the statutory thing that Shauna is gonna tell me right now.
Have my cheat sheet.
One ESA A2313.
Yes, AA 21313.
One VSA section 313,
And then parentheses,
Purpose.
A what?
real estate purchase or lease options.
Is that A5?
Just says.
One
Yeah, I had it in
VSA
my other book. I'm sorry.
squiggle 313, parenthesis A, parenthesis 2, the negotiating or
Two.
securing, 2, the securing of real estate purchase
that
or
it?
lease options.
Okay,
One VSA squiggle
Yeah,
313,
parentheses A, parentheses
parent
two.
2, yeah.
Second that. You need to second that, right?
I second. You second?
You did?
Okay.
You-
Yeah.
All right, I apologize. So who moved?
Jim.
Jim moved.
Jim second.
I second. Yeah. What am I missing?
I'm doing this tomorrow.
It's like I have.
Recording stopped.
You stopped the recording, right?
Yes, but I just.
Gina still